I'm assuming if you've played this game for any reasonable amount of time that you are familiar with the concept of summon lag. Essentially what happens is someone enters or exits the host's world, and then all of a sudden they aren't animating anymore for everyone in their world. They kind of just glide around, and you have no idea what they're doing. They could be shooting free-aimed crossbow exploding bolts at you. They could be shooting magic at you. God knows what they're doing. And it kind of sucks, and it's hard to deal with, because sometimes at the end of it, you just take 1,000,000 damage and explode and die. Apparently, on PS4 at least. On PC, I understand the situation is different. Apparently the host can't damage invaders at all during summon lag, is what I understand. I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, the truth of the matter is that there's no real way to actually stop summon lag. It kind of just sucks, and you kind of just have to accept that sometimes you're going to die in really stupid ways. However, there are ways to mitigate summon lag, and there are ways to make it a more powerful tool for you as an invader. There are ways to take advantage of it and not just die to it every single time. So let's talk about how damage works in DS3. DS3 has a 2-hit or 2-way confirmation check, essentially, for every single hit. So if I swing my weapon and hit someone on my screen, it first checks, hey, are they in iframes on your screen? Not on theirs, on mine. And if the answer is yes, I won't even get a hit confirm. They won't take any damage because they were in iframes on my screen. However, if they were not in iframes on my screen, the game sends a data packet to my opponent, their PS4, and says, hey, Silly Dog just hit you with a weapon with this AR, it's this type of damage. What type of iframes are you in? What type of frames are you in? Are you in block frames? Did you block the damage? Are you in iframes? Did you iframe the damage? And if they were in iframes, they take no damage. If they were in block frames, it treats it as a block. And, if they were in... Actually, not if they were in parry frames. That's not how that works. If they were in hyper armor frames, that matters too. So that's how damage basically works in DS3. If they were not in iframes and they were not in block frames, they will take full damage, and it will do the calculation on their end with their defenses based on my weapon's AR, their defenses of how much damage they should actually take. Next, let's talk about summon lag and what it does to this sort of pipeline. Summon lag essentially makes it so that the host still can get hit confirms on you. However, the damage from those hit confirms won't actually go through until the end of the summon lag spike. So, if they hit you 5 times during the summon lag, you're all of a sudden just going to take 5 hits at the end of the summon lag, unless you do something about it. Which is kind of a real issue, considering you literally can't reaction roll. That is the big downside of summon lag for invaders. You literally cannot reaction roll the host's attack if they're lagged out, because, they're not animating. If they were animating, then even if they were unstaggerable or whatever, it wouldn't be as much of a problem. What are some of the advantages of summon lag for invaders, though? Since the host functionally cannot hit you during summon lag, you have essentially become an infinite poise, unparryable beast of an invader. You can't spam R1 too mindlessly, but functionally in that moment, you are essentially a Havel with a gold tracer from DS1 if you so desire. Because you can't be interrupted by the host, you can't be parried by the host, and he might not even realize that summon lag is happening, so he might be expecting to be able to parry or hit stun you. And he can't, because, he's lagged out. He literally cannot hit you in that moment. You are going to have to deal with the repercussions of what you did during the summon lag spike at the end of it. If the host hit you 5 times during it, you're going to take 5 hits worth of damage at the end of it. However, in the moment, you are unparryable, you are unstaggerable, you're really strong during summon lag, just very weak afterwards, potentially. So today I'm going to talk mostly about how to avoid taking damage from summon lag, because in of itself, summon lag is like a true advantage for the invader. You are unparryable by the host, and you are unstaggerable. It's just that moment of true advantage for the invader usually comes with some very real downsides at the end of that moment of true advantage. So, what is way number one to avoid taking damage from summon lag? Way number one is simply to avoid letting the host even get a hit confirm on you. Just stay out of range of him. If he's a magician and he summon lags out, if he's casting plasma all over the screen, yeah, it's kind of stupid how powerful that is, because he's just going to lag out, get a lot of hit confirms on you, and all of a sudden you're taking 3 different CBVs to the face at the end of the lag spike. But that's the way number one. If they're a melee build, just do your best to stay out of range of them and not let them get a hit confirm on you. However, sometimes that doesn't work, and you know you're going to take some damage if the summon lag ends, and then you're going to have to find a way to deal with it. Way number one to deal with it is to iframe it. Just panic roll like the biggest noob you've ever seen. Considering it's a lot like Bleed in that the damage comes through all in one moment at the end, you can iframe all of it if you time your roll correctly. There was an instance of it just a few seconds ago. I don't know if you caught it. The red in this invasion might give you a hint as to method 2 to deal with the damage at the end of summon lag. Use Perseverance. You obviously aren't going to avoid all of the damage from summon lag. However, you can obviously greatly reduce it because you get insane absorption values during Perseverance. So, that's method 2. Finally, here is method 3. Blue gets summoned in this invasion. Host lags out. Method 3 is to block the damage. Works a lot better if you have 100% physical shield, obviously, but proof of concept, y'all. Proof of concept. Just a final addendum that if you notice someone is summon lagging out, if you're using a shield, you can swap to a better shield if you so desire. And all of a sudden, oh, you're not taking any damage at all. So anyway, those are my 3 ways to deal with summon lag. Hard to practice, and they're a niche tactic at best, but I feel like they're worth knowing if you ever find yourself in that opportunity to mitigate some damage. So anyway, hope this is helpful. Dog out.